dream, do you see beautiful rays of light? I know it feels like the night's getting longer and light is harder to find. I promise I'll always be there, I'll remind you when you close your eyes. If they sent for me tomorrow.
As we transition from an old decade to a new one, we need to see what's happened in that time frame. If you look at technologies such as cameras, laptops, cell phones, everything has changed completely. But as for the A1, it came out more than 10 years ago, in 2010 to be exact. So now that 10 years has passed and we've entered a new decade, wonder what the new A1 is like.
When the lights turn out.
Most of all, I'm intrigued by this car because it represents the new era and season of technologies we're going into. As well, with small cars like this, it also tells us what sort of direction the small car market is going to end up in. Take this center console, for example. The analog dials have been replaced by this fully digitized screen, which also can double act as a map, which is awesome. And then there's the center console, which has HD graphics. You can also use it for your Apple CarPlay needs, which means that everything that's on your mobile phone can be mirrored right here. So all your music selection and messages and WhatsApps can be seen or read here. But it gets better than that because the driver's point of view has also been changed. We don't have the 10-year-ago bus driver steering wheel. Now we have a flat-bottom sports steering wheel, which has pretty much minimalist features because all the technologies are right in front of you.
This is the future.
Some of you may believe that all the millennial Gen Z tech is a distraction. But with all these bells and whistles, what's the A1 really like? As it turns out, lovely. The A1 is a Supermini, which means that it is smaller than a traditional hatchback, which means that it's easier to live with if you're in busy cities like Johannesburg, Sandton CBD, where there's mounds of traffic everywhere. You can zip in between like a taxi, not that you should. You can park in very, very small parking spaces. And the push off of that is that it's fuel efficient and it is cheap to service, cheap to run. So it's quite a nice car. I understand that this is a very expensive car, and yes, it's got a Bang & Olufsen stereo and it's got all the touch screens and all the modern technology that you would need, but this is a very nice small hatchback, and I can actually forgive the price that it's at because a small hatchback is cheap and horrible, and it's got nasty plastics that you would find in your grandmother's kitchen, and it deteriorates faster than Brexit. It's absolutely horrible, and no one makes a good small hatchback. And if you look at a decent size hatchback like its older sibling, the A3, it's too big and it can't fit into parking spaces and so on and so forth. But as a small mini hatchback, the A1 is in a very, very good place. I can forgive its price. I don't need all these fancy options. I can just get myself a basic A1 and I'll be fine because I'll know that this is essentially what a hatchback is supposed to be. Small, fast, fun, but usable. When you have a small car like this, you tend to use it every single day. It fills all your gaps. Taking up friends to school, or taking people to places, or doing your life experiences, whatever it may be. With that comes the trouble of having a dirty car. And I don't know about you, but I don't like dirty cars, nor do I have the time to wash it. So what do you do when you have a car like this? The trouble with having a small car like the A1 or a car of this size is that you use it a lot, which means that it gets dirty. Now, I'll do a quick census survey with the crew here. How many of you guys wash your car?
No, not at all.
Do you pay someone? Well, that's the thing. So I have done this quick survey and I've asked a couple of people, and most people either don't wash their car or they take it to an underground parking lot and get some random with a little garden hose to wash their car, which is not the right thing to do, which is why I've come to the heart of Sandton, to Shine Car Care Centre, to check out the real way and the right way to wash a car. The first step would be to hose the wheels and arches of the car. This is to remove loose dirt. These also happen to be the dirtiest parts of the car. Next would be to spray a wheel cleaner, which acts as a degreaser that softens iron particles and dust from the brakes. This doesn't damage the wheels or scratch them before wheel contact. You would then start with the wheel bucket only to be used for the wheels. Using a brush, you would loosen the dirt inside and outside the rim, as well as the arches and tires. Just a simple rinse with the pressure hose remains. Now, onto the rest of the car. It's time to hose the paint with a solid stream of water, removing all surface dirt, leaves, and any other debris from the car top to bottom. The paint is then sprayed with a pH-neutral foaming agent bottom to top. No, I didn't say that wrong because spraying the bottom acts as a catch to capture the dirt. The foam absorbs the dirt, softens it, all while not making any contact with the paint. This is to prevent swirls because what you normally would do is wet the car, take soapy water and wipe, which in turn rubs the dirt into the paint, giving you some lovely scratches and swirls that magically appear next time you're in the sun. All the nooks and crannies are then brushed, including the corners, trims, and badges to remove any dirt that would otherwise not be cleaned with a sponge or cloth. At no point did we make contact with the paint. We rinse off the loose dirt and foam completely, which makes the paint on the rest of the car safe to wash. This is a two-bucket process. One is a pH-neutral soap and the other clean water. Using a mitt, you dip into the soap bucket and wipe the car. Then dip into the water bucket, rinse, and repeat. Do this until the whole car has been wiped top to bottom. The car is then rinsed again to remove the leftover dirt. The last bit of process is patting the car dry with a drying cloth instead of wiping. This is just to prevent paint swirls. All corners and hard-to-reach areas are blown with compressed air to remove excess water and to stop further dirt from catching on the car again. The final step would be to dress the tires to make them shine, wipe down the glass with a glass cleaner, and give the car a final once over. Now, if this is too much for you to remember or take in, I have a quicker solution for you. Go to Shine Car Care Center and just let them do it. In our new decade, we look after our cars as much as we look after ourselves. The A1 is the manifestation of the previous decade and the new one, combining the old of getting us from point A to B to now aiding us with newer technology, luxury, and a higher set of standards for the future to come. Greetings, it's me again. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button. Definitely helps us to make more videos like this for you. If not, you're gonna wait for the end screen and you'll get suggested something we don't like.